Hello, MGMT 480 Management of International Business students. Once again, I hope everyone and your families and family and loved ones are safe and healthy from the coronavirus threat that we're all facing right now. This is a video introduction to the topics covered in Chapter 9. Chapter 9 it addresses the issue of regional economic integration. Regional economic integration refers to various ways in which different countries can become economically integrated with each other on a regional basis. So the term regional refers to interactions among countries in the same part of the world. So, for example, if the USA is conducting some kind of economic relationship with Madagascar, that would not be an example of regional economic integration because the USA and Madagascar are in different parts of the world. In contrast, when the USA, Canada, and Mexico signed the NAFTA treaty back in 1994, NAFTA was an example of regional economic integration because the USA, Canada, and Mexico are all North American countries. They're all, generally speaking, in the same region of the world. All right. So I ask you a number of questions that are designed that I would like you to answer and submit the answers to me for. And the questions cover some of the basics that, are gone over in the chapter. The chapter, of course, goes beyond the questions I asked. So, make sure that when you read the chapter, you don't merely read it to answer the questions. Because, one of the reasons that I assign the questions to you is to help you prepare for our last exam that will come up later this month on April 27th. But you will be responsible for everything in the chapter and anything I say in this video introduction, not merely, what is asked of you in terms of the questions. So, basically what we're trying to understand here in this is, what is regional economic integration? How is the term defined? What is its specific meaning in the world of international trade and economic relations? And also, why have these agreements proliferated in recent years? There's definitely been a growth of REI agreements in the past 20 to 30 years. So you want to make sure that you understand why that is the case. Right? Also, you need to understand that there are different, kinds of regional economic integration. There's what are called customs unions, common markets, political unions, among other things. So you want to pay a special attention or care to the parts of the chapter that describe what those different levels of and types of regional economic integration are. There's also a discussion in the chapter of specific examples of regional economic integration in different parts of the world. Now, there's a breakdown of the NAFTA treaty that I mentioned a couple minutes ago here in North America. Also, what has happened in Europe with the formation of the European Union and some of the issues that have arisen over in Europe over currency. Some countries within the European Union have adopted the euro as the official currency of their country, but a few have not, and we want to understand why that's the case. And also the Mercosur agreement in South America, right? We understand what the countries involved are, why they formed these agreements, what they hope to get out of them, and also, though, what some critics say are drawbacks of regional economic integration agreements. Last but not least, I ask you to read a case. There's a case at the end of the chapter that covers cases of regional economic integration in Africa, right? And the difficulties that African countries have encountered when trying to establish trading agreements with each other. And this isn't really a problem common only to Africa. For example, if we think of the NAFTA treaty, U.S., Canada, and Mexico, that was signed in the early 90s, it took 8 years to negotiate that treaty. That treaty negotiations began, NAFTA negotiations began in 1985 or 1986 and didn't conclude until 93 or 94. So it's always tough to negotiate these agreements. But they've had a particularly difficult time doing so in Africa. And so you want to make sure when you're reading that case that you understand why that's been the case. And of course, if you have any questions, you know how to contact me on Moodle, email, Facebook, etc. Anyway, stay safe and see you the next time I post one of these videos.